What's up guys, Longad here, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to make kids choir type samples in the style of Q-beats, Southside, you know, that type of stuff that is getting so popular right now. I'm gonna show you how I made this sample and then I'm gonna break down every single element of it. And also I just wanted to let you know that I just dropped my newest guitar loop kit. It contains 15 samples in the style of Rod Wave, Ghana, Roddy Ricch, NBA Youngboy, all high quality samples made with, of course, real guitars. And yeah, I'm gonna leave the link down in the description if you want to check it. So yeah, now without further ado, let's get into it. So yeah, first thing first, I'm gonna let you hear how the sample sounds like. Okay, first thing first, I started with this piano, and this is how it sounds like. We in the key of D minor, 138 BPM. For the chords, I used first the D minor triad, then the A minor triad and the A sharp major chord. Then we go to the G minor triad and just split it, duplicate it to give it, you know, more bounce. Then we go back to the A sharp major chord and we ended up to the A major chord to give it more of a jazzy feeling. On the second part, I just simply duplicated these chords right here, and I just added these little notes on the top to, you know, to create a sort of a counter melody, and of course create more bounce. And at the end, I just split this chord right here to create a little variation, you know, just to not be so repetitive. So for the piano, I use felt grand piano from Oliver Arnold's Composer Toolkit in Contact. And for the effects, I use RC20, the Vinyl 1 preset. I just tweak it a little bit, reduce the wobble, a little bit of distortion, some space, and I just use the EQ right here to cut some of the lows, some of the highs. And then I use reels. I love this plugin because it gives, you know, the vintage feeling. And I use the excited tape preset, and I just put the mix at 50%, and then a simple EQ to cut some of the lows and boost some of the highs mid frequencies. Okay, second element that I added is the second piano right here, and this is how it sounds like. So yeah, the reason I added a second piano is because the first piano was, you know, a little bit darker. So I needed, you know, more mid high frequencies, and I decided to add, you know, the second piano on the background. I use the Noir Pure Forte Piano preset, and for effects I use RC20. Same preset as the first piano, so wobble, distortion, space, and I cut more frequencies here on the EQ. Then I got these reels, same preset, excited tape, some reverb, basic reverb, and some EQ to cut more of the lows, just to not clash it with the first piano. And yeah, of course, for the chords, I use the same chords as the first piano. We mentioned it before. And then we go to the third element, this Glockenspiel, and this is how it sounds like. So on the first part, as you can see, is one octave up, and on the second is one octave down. You know, just to have some variation between the first and the second part of the sample. For the Glockenspiel, I used Mallet Flux single in Contact, and I used the Celesta, the soft long preset. For the effects, I use F time 114, mix at 100%, some EQ to cut some of the lows, then RC20, and I use this custom preset that I made by myself. I got some wobble, distortion, some digital, and some space, and of course some EQ right here. Then of course some reverb and some penman to create a little bit of movement, so left and right. So yeah, then we go to the bells, and this is how it sounds like. For the chords, I just simply copy the chords from the piano, but I remove the top notes. I use Analog Lab, the Audition preset. For the effects, I use Valhalla Vintage Verb, RC20, and I use the set piano preset. Put some wobble, some distortion, some space, and on the EQ right here, I cut a lot of the lows and some of the highs. Then we got an EQ to cut some of the lows, and then we move on to the strings. This is one of my favorite part of the sample, and this is how this sounds like. So this is like some run strings, and I use Contact. The library is Scene Strings Run Scales plus Trills, and I use the natural minor. And for the effects, I use Valhalla Vintage Verb, and that's all. The reason why I use the strings run is because they help to create a better transition on certain part of the loops. So, for example, here. And here. So we go to the second part in a smoother way, and also because they of course they sound dope. Then I used other strings for the second part of the sample, and this is how this sounds like. So for the strings, I use Joshua Bell violin. You know, this bank is too dope for the strings, for this type of strings. And for the effects, I use an EQ, and I cut a lot of the lows. RC20, I use the Vinyl 1 preset. I just tweak it, you know, the EQ right here to cut more of the lows. Isotope Vinyl to reduce, you know, the here right here, and put it on 90-70, and Valhalla Vintage Verb, and I put a lot of reverb, and yeah, that's all. So since I had, you know, an empty space right here, I decided to use another string to fill out the space, and I used this one right here. So the bank is K5 from 8 dial. and I don't remember exactly which one of these I used, so just try and experiment. They all sound so dope. There are phrases and all this type of stuff. And for the effects, I use an EQ to cut a lot of the lows, some of the highs, and of course a reverb and Echo Boy for a little bit of delay. Then we go to the, to the most important part of the sample, and of course the vocal. I use this vocal from Jatic and CD MP3 sample pack, and this is how it sounds like.
Take me far away to a better place. Take me far away, show me your face. I wanna see it all, I wanna see what's real. I wanna see everything, I just want to feel.
And yeah, for effects, I put a simple EQ, RC20, to give it more vintage feeling. I use the Vinyl 1 preset, but I tweaked a little bit the EQ right here to cut more of the lows. And of course some reverb to give it the vocal more space and not to sound so dry. Last thing on the sample is this bass right here. This is how it sounds like. I used the bass from Expand, the full finger bass. I added a guitar rig, and I used the clean bass preset. Then I put an EQ to cut some of the highs, and neutron too. And I used one of the preset on the electric bass category. One of these, I don't remember which one. And I have an EQ, an exciter, and a compressor. And of course for the notes, I use the root note of the piano. And yeah, this is the whole sample. So I open up another session, and I got the sample pull up right here, and I'm gonna show you my process on how I make the drums for this type of samples. I just started with this rim right here. Then we move to the snare. To give more bounce. Then hi-hat. I added these little rolls right here to create more bounce. Then I got this open hat. 808. I just copy the root notes of the bass. I just simply copy and paste the first part on the second part, and I just pitch it up this note right here to have a variation at the end. And lastly, I added this kick. So yeah, this is the whole drums, and this is how it sounds with the sample. So that's it guys for the tutorial. I appreciate you for watching it. I hope you learned something and you enjoyed. And keep supporting us and see you on the next one. Peace.